Good deal. All right, well, we've talked a lot today about the future workforce and the shift to more technical and high-skilled careers. Now we have the opportunity to talk about how successful private sector programs can help transform the job market. I'm excited to welcome Alice Tornquist with Qualcomm and Robert Chiappetta with Toyota Motor North America. Welcome up, guys. Hi. And they both are going to share with us today their company's successful programs to help prepare and educate future employees for high-tech careers. Alice Tornquist is Vice President of Government Affairs for Qualcomm. She manages Qualcomm's domestic public policy agenda and its relationships with government entities and organizations at the federal level. Robert Chiappetta is Director of Government Affairs at Toyota Motor North America, responsible for enhancing the company's reputation and advancing its legislative agenda with members of Congress and the administration. Thanks both to you for being here today. So Alice, let's start with you. Earlier today, we heard from Congresswoman Brooks about the need to get and keep young people interested in STEM. Qualcomm is working with public schools to give students an opportunity for hands-on learning and to get them interested in engineering and programming. We have a great video highlighting the program, which we'll share in just a minute. But before we play it, can you tell us a little bit about the Think a Bit Lab, what the goal of the program is, and what problem it's trying to solve?
Sure. Thanks, Jamie. We started the Think a Bit Lab at Qualcomm in 2014. It's really aimed at providing exposure to students in STEM fields to try to help to build the workforce for the 21st century. And actually, as a technology company, this is an area that we have been focused on for quite some time. We view it as a core mission to build a pipeline of talent that we need to do the very high-skilled technical work that we're engaged in. That actually, our efforts there go back to 2006, when we've become one of the lead corporate sponsors for FIRST, which is an outstanding organization. FIRST stands for Inspiration and Recognition of Science and Technology, and that's an organization that's also engaged on inspiring students to pursue STEM education and STEM careers. But with respect to the Think a Bit Lab, the Think a Bit Lab is really a combination of an engineering lab and a classroom and a makerspace where students are exposed to engineering and programming and science, and then the careers that are associated with those areas. The students come into the Think a Bit Lab and they actually create a simple robot while they're there. And the day is it's taught by engineers and teachers. It's free for the students who participate in it, other than the transportation that they provide. And also in the Think a Bit Lab, we're providing opportunities for educators to learn best practices for teaching STEM fields. So that's kind of what the Think a Bit Lab is. In terms of our goal, it's really to inspire the next generation of STEM innovators. We're focused on students who may not otherwise envision themselves pursuing a career in STEM, such as girls and underrepresented minorities. So that's a core focus for us at the Think a Bit Lab. And we want them to learn about these technologies, but also have a spark of interest in invention. So the robots that they build in one day it's not just a kit that they read a manual and make a robot. They actually create it, design it themselves. So there's a bit of art involved in that. And we want them to have this spark in invention so that they will view themselves as one day becoming inventors and have exposure to some of the technologies that we're working on at Qualcomm, such as 5G and the Internet of Things and smart cities, that they can view as platforms. These middle school students will be in the workforce in the year 2060, and they can view these platforms as things from which they can build and become inventors themselves.
Great. Let's see the video and see what this program's all about. Okay, that seriously looks really cool and like something I want to go do.
Yes,
so
exactly.
I'm going to come out sometime and you'll have to
You're
give me a tour and let
welcome
me
to,
play
yeah.
with all that cool stuff. Great. So these students come in and they do this program. What do you see as the impact on these students after they do the program, and how does it really impact their interest in this field?
Yeah, so as I said, since 2014 when it started, we have hosted 10,000 students, and we've had 1,000 students and parents come through the program. And one of the things that happens in the one day, we do a one-day academic setting for the students during the academic school year, and then we also have 1 to 2 week longer camps, we call them Q camps, during the summer. And what we have found, the students do sort of their impressions after the one day on their writable tablets, which is kind of an awesome thing to have in the Think of It lab. And their comments have been so positive. They've really said, you know, I can see myself being an engineer. You know, this was so fun. The enthusiasm is really just palpable from these students and reflected in their comments. And then in terms of the sort of longer term, because we have these, you know, these Q camps, we've been able to kind of study more the cohorts of in particular, girls, in conjunction with the Berkeley Hall of Science that have gone over a three-year period. And from that, we've seen a significant increase in their interest in staying with STEM and therefore pursuing a STEM career. So it's been very positive.
Great, so you get students interested at a young age and you give them a little taste of what the future can look like. So now that we've got students interested in technology and seeing this as a future opportunity, let's talk about how we can take that and transform it into a career. Robert, Toyota's program is a partnership with local community college. I believe you started out in Kentucky with a program there and are expanding in a couple of different states. Really focused on secondary education and really helping to prepare students for those highly technical skills. Can you tell us a little bit about Toyota's program and what the goals are before we play the video?
Sure. Thank you, Jamie. First, a quick fact. So the most American car on the road today is a Toyota Camry. We manufactured in Georgetown, Kentucky. That's home to Toyota's largest vehicle assembly plant in the world. We employ about 8,000 people at that facility. And if you were to ask the plant manager what's the hardest position for him to fill at that plant, it would be the maintenance technician slot. That's the person essentially that maintains and repairs the machines and robots on the shop floor. So the local school system wasn't meeting our needs. We had a significant shortage, like most manufacturers in America, in the middle skills technician area. And we couldn't just fill those slots with a warm body. In fact, we were determined to try and come up with a way to develop the very best globally competitive talent. So we, and when I say we, really my colleague Dennis D.O. Parker was principally responsible for this. He sat down with educators in the area and helped them understand how to rethink how they were preparing students for work in a world-class manufacturing setting. So they redesigned the curriculum to include the full skill set required for someone working in an advanced manufacturing setting. They redesigned the classroom to look and feel like the shop, like the manufacturing shop floor. And they also redesigned the education delivery system so that the student felt like they were working a little bit more so than they were studying. And then what's really important here is that we didn't keep this to ourselves. We went into the community and we went to other manufacturers and we asked them to join the program as well. So the program has been very successful. We call it the Advanced Manufacturing Technician Program, AMT for short. And it has been so successful in Kentucky that a few years ago the governor endorsed it statewide. And with that, we were able to create a statewide collaborative that we call Kentucky FAME, or Federation for Advanced Manufacturing Education. So today we have about 200 companies that are part of this in Kentucky. About 145 of them are sponsoring students. There are 10 colleges in the state that offer the program. The graduation rate currently is at 70%, which is about 14 times the national rate. Wow. And 95% of the students who graduate are able to take full-time positions in the companies that sponsor them through the program. So I think we have a short video. And
let's play the video.
See a little bit more about it.
So I want to point out one thing actually that stood out to me in the video is when we heard, it's not just, mechanical, it's academic. Earlier we heard today from one of our speakers about the need for both soft skills, communication skills, and the technical skills. Can you talk a little bit about how this program gives students both?
Yeah, so in order to be successful on the shop floor in Toyota, you have to be first and foremost a really good communicator. To be a good communicator, you have to have good English skills, good writing skills, and so you clearly you need a mix of different things. And I think what's somewhat unique about this program is that we've really thought through all of the different skill sets that are required to be successful. And when I talked about redesigning the curriculum, we actually really thought about how we should sequence those courses so that skills are building on the previous skills. We've been really impressed with the quality of the graduates so far. They've actually really exceeded our expectations. In some ways, because these are young people who already have a feel for technology. They graduate from the program and they're in some ways even a little bit better than the people we already have on the job, which to be able to go from not finding enough workers, having to turn down literally in some cases 90% of the applicants that apply for the job, to having a steady stream of applicants, a steady stream of cohorts that are performing at a globally competitive level was an incredible turnaround for us.
So you're seeing these students come through their program with like you said, even higher skills than some of your experienced folks. Yeah. How does this, do you see a kind of an increased level of loyalty in employees or happiness from having been able to benefit from this program, and do they stick around longer, better employees?
So absolutely. So two parts to this. One, it is a significant investment that we're making, and I think the students really recognize that and appreciate that. It's not an opportunity that everybody gets to have, to be able to work with really sophisticated technology, to be in a professional setting. The program requires that you're on the job 3 days and in school 2 days. So there is a real appreciation for that at the student level, and I think that translates to a lot of enthusiasm for the company that's sponsoring them. But the problem is that these folks are in really, really high demand. And sometimes all it takes is $1 extra an hour for someone down the road to poach your talent, which is a real problem because you're making a huge investment, and then a few years down the road it's possible for someone to steal them away. So that's part of the reason why this is not a Toyota-only program. In fact, if you look at the complete video, you'll see other manufacturers, and we actually try not to emphasize Toyota's role in creating this because we want others to invest and to partake in this. And I think, it's being invested in it also allows you to work with someone and see someone for a long time before you decide to make that hiring decision. Mm-hmm. So it's really helpful for those that are doing this on the manufacturing side to have that time to be able to cultivate that talent And it's really great for the community to have many participants really trying to make a difference in terms of the overall workforce pipeline.
Absolutely. So now both the Qualcomm and Toyota programs partner with local communities, with local education. You know, with Virginia Tech here, with Qualcomm, you with Kentucky, and across other states as well. You know, how important is that local buy-in and that partnership to making these programs successful?
I mean, I would say for our experience with the Think a Bit Lab, that's been absolutely critical. This was something that, you know, started more organically for us on campus with working with the children of our employees. We really found out quickly that there was so much interest in this program from local schools and have started to grow it, you know, that way. And since we started the program on our campus, we've had interest from other schools. We've expanded into several schools in the San Diego region, as well as a library where we have a public-private partnership with the library. And then, as you mentioned, most recently we launched a Think a Bit Lab here in the Capital Region in Northern Virginia in Falls Church in conjunction with Virginia Tech. And so that partnership with educators and local school districts, and in addition, the mayor's office in San Diego has become very interested, and the San Diego Workforce Partnership as well, and we get requests from these types of organizations to host their meetings in our Think a Bit Lab, you know, frequently. So that local buy-in is really critical and helps make the program very robust.
Yeah, you know, I would say at this point the collaboration is going extremely well. But if we go back to the beginnings, it wasn't as easy. You know, our program did require schools to make significant changes, and I think there, you know, initially was some reluctance. I think there was a sense that, you know, we know how to educate students, and here's how we do it. But I would say that since the program has gotten going and has succeeded in different places, and again, the quality of the product, the quality of the student coming out is such that more and more schools are interested, more and more schools are willing to make those kinds of changes. Just as one example, the program is a 2-year associate degree program. And it runs over 5 consecutive semesters, which means there's a summer semester as well. And the reason why we did that was because, again, we wanted to replicate work more so than school. And, you know, you don't take 2 months vacation when you're on the job. So the program runs 5 consecutive semesters, and that's not easy necessarily for a school system where teachers go on vacation, you know, where systems are set up differently. But I think now that we've had a lot of success, and again, the quality of the student coming out of the program has helped us convince more and more schools to do this. You mentioned that we have this in other places. It's in 9 states now. It's spread out over 22 different college campuses across the country. And, you know, we're interested in finding more willing partners.
So for either local communities, local policymakers that are interested in this idea and would love to bring this into their communities, you know, what's the advice for them? I'm sure you have people probably knocking on the door every day to get involved. You know, what makes their request stand out? What makes you want to partner with them?
So for us, we do get requests. To be quite honest, we're also trying to be proactive and bring people into this. We have launched an academy associated with the program. So every so often, folks that have expressed an interest can come to the academy and do a really deep dive to learn how to put the program in their community. We're actually working with an organization here in town called Hope Street Group to put together a 3-day conference, a 3-day workshop where we'll be inviting others to come and learn about the program. You know, we think this is a model that can work nationwide, and one that, if was operating nationwide, would really boost the workforce pipeline for manufacturers. And that would bode well for us, as well as our suppliers and so many others that participate in the Toyota food chain. So we're eager to try and get this to as many places as possible.
Yeah, I mean, similarly, we're eager to replicate. We look for partners that are hungry for doing this. Sometimes, something as simple, one of the key things in our partnership was Virginia Tech was, of course, their expertise and credibility, and then space. Space is a key thing for having a Think of It lab. And we also, as I mentioned earlier, one of our missions is to bring underrepresented minorities, girls, students who may not otherwise, envision themselves pursuing a STEM career. And so we're interested in partnering where we can further that goal as well.
Excellent. These are just two examples of great programs that are out there and available for students, K through graduation and beyond, that I'm sure we will see continue to grow and expand. So we look forward to watching these programs expand and see the great work that you continue to do. So thank you both for joining us today and sharing a little bit about the programs.
Thank you.
Thanks.